and listen, we said, hey, by the way, Joe Flacco signed with the Bengals. Mm-hmm. I'm like, wow, what a new arc to his career. He's going to be around till like 45, 46 years old, just kind of as the guy bouncing around as a backup, just staying there and like accepting the role. Like, how crazy is that for a Super Bowl winner? And you guys are like, wow, that's interesting. Like, yeah, he maybe he can get to that place, not ruffling any feathers, just being the backup. Well, he met with the media yesterday after re-signing with the Bengals, and I was wrong. Take a listen to what Flacco had to say.
I feel like I can help a team win. And, yeah, it may be in a different role here, but I do still think I can help this team win in that role. I had a lot of fun with Joe, and Joe's the guy. And believe me, I wish I was a guy somewhere. And I think teams are dumb for not having me be that guy. But it is what it is, and I'm not going to let them or it get me down. I'm going to be the person I am and just approach football the way I always have.
Teams are dumb for not having me as the guy. Courtney Cronin, I just saw you roll your eyes with one of the biggest eye rolls I've ever seen in my entire life. Why?
It's because the eyelash glue is stuck to my eyelid right now. I was trying to free it. No, I mean, you're 41, 42 years old. You're acting as if you've been slighted throughout your career and that teams look at you right now and don't view you in the light that you want to be viewed in. And I think that that's a little bit of motivation. Everybody's got to dig deep. I mean, we talked about Tom Brady and how long he played. I'm sure he used the same tactics of making things up to create that drive. And maybe Joe Flacco's doing that. But nobody's looking at a sub 61% completion percentage, 2,479 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions last year, being like, oh, yeah, first one in line to sign up for Joe Flacco as a backup quarterback. I don't think that teams are dumb necessarily for not signing him as a free agent to come in and be their backup quarterback. I also don't believe that he can't not help a team win. What's the word I'm looking at? Did I just do a double negative there?
I think so confused on what you mean.
I think he can help a team win.
Okay.
But at what cost? He's acting like he's like the missing piece for the Cincinnati Bengals right now, which I don't believe to be the case. Is it nice that he found a home there? Sure, but he's 2-8 as a starter over the last 2 years. And I don't think that this is a move that puts a team over the top by any stretch. That's just who Joe Flacco is. He's a little abrasive. He's a little rough around the edges. Is he incredibly smart, and can he add something to that quarterback room? Sure. But I don't read into this as he's like, this is something that NFL teams like, oh my God, I can't believe they passed on signing Joe Flacco as a veteran quarterback to solidify their room.
He called them dumb.
I mean, that's just who he is, though. You got to know. I mean, that's what he's done his entire career. He's abrasive.
That's a strong comment. Smalls is like, can we name names?
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah. Like meaning the teams.
He stepped in last year. We know he came off the couch, was productive for the Browns. Mm-hmm. He stepped in last year, had one of the most productive stretches of his career for the Bengals. Would you have rather had Joe Flacco or Tua in Miami last year?
In Miami last year?
Yeah.
Flacco. Okay, but that's last year. So what about this year?
I'm just saying they're
dumb for passing. Is Miami dumb for going with your guy Malik Willis?
No, I don't think so.
Jets taking Geno.
I'm just saying we could go around the league and find certain quarterback situations where maybe he is a better option. That doesn't mean, though, that that's what these teams should do, because they know that Joe Flacco has a finite amount of time left in his NFL career. They're trying to find the solution for now and for the future. If you're in a position to bring in somebody like Joe Flacco, you need somebody for the future, not just somebody for right now. And so you're more apt to roll the dice on a younger player because there's more upside and potentially more of a runway with them. And he has to understand that.
Well, let's go through this for a second, because the executives out there are evaluating talent in the draft with Mendoza and Simpson, and then free agency, right? And these are smart people, we think, executives making decisions, their evaluations, executive evaluations brought to us by ZipRecruiter. Try it free at ZipRecruiter.com/USL. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Let's talk about some of these executive evaluations. Let's speculate as to who the dumb teams are.
Yeah.
Miami is Miami dumb for going Willis over Flacco?
I mean, the amount that they paid Malik Willis and then said, hey, play the 2026 season with your hand tied behind your back because we just traded your top weapon. I would say that they do fall into the dumb category. I don't personally believe that he was directing his ire towards them.
Okay.
I don't think the Dolphins should have brought in Joe Flacco because they're also trying to, in addition to figure out their quarterback puzzle here, build a new culture. And they are familiar with Malik Willis, obviously from Green Bay. And even though they removed weapons from him, I do think that he is the right person to start this new chapter in Miami Dolphins football.
All right, let me go through these quickly. All right, I'm going to give you the list of potential dumb teams. We'll do it this way, and you guys tell me who he could be talking about that's dumb for not bringing him in as the starter, right? That's pretty clear. The Jets, who brought in Geno for half the price. His old team, the Browns, who have Watson and Sanders. Pittsburgh, who technically does not have Rodgers yet. Indianapolis, who paid Daniel Jones, where he once was, $1 gazillion. Kansas City for bringing in Justin Fields until Mahomes may be ready. Vegas for not bringing in a veteran quarterback yet to start before Mendoza. Minnesota for going out there and getting Kyler Murray as the compete with J.J. McCarthy. Atlanta for getting Tua to go compete with Michael Penix Jr. Arizona for bringing in both Gardner Minshew and Jacoby Brissett as the just deal with this season until we get our quarterback of the future. Smalls, your best guess as to who Joe Flacco is calling dumb?
Well, I would circle the Arizona Cardinals. You don't think Joe Flacco could be more consistent and productive than the two guys you named?
Well, I don't think that Joe Flacco could be a better arm around a young guy than Jacoby Brissett.
No, I'm not talking about leadership.
But they're not
We're
looking,
talking about football.
What he's suggesting is not what the dumb team was looking for. I don't think Arizona is looking for the best possible quarterback. I think Arizona is looking for the best possible leader, veteran, role model for young players who, if and when he's replaced, is not going to throw a stink and not going to call everybody dumb. Right? In a way, Joe Flacco may not be a starting quarterback because he's not going to be a full-time starting quarterback for 17 games. And if he's not, he's going to call you dumb. So maybe that's why.
That's why I think it's the Chiefs. Like, my answer would be Kansas City.
Interesting.
Because we know what Justin Fields is. We do. You might get, like, good play out of him. He might be able to win you, like, 1 or 2 games. But as a backup, if Patrick Mahomes can't start the season and you're rolling with Justin Fields, I think that Joe Flacco looks at that and says, how do teams keep falling into this trap thinking that a change of scenery is going to all of a sudden teach this guy how to read a defense? Like,
but that means he's calling the recently 3-time champion Kansas City Chiefs dumb.
He's calling the front office dumb.
Of the Kansas City Chiefs, Courtney?
Because he's looking,
then he's dumb.
He's looking at himself and saying, I'm better than the backup option that you brought in because look at what I did with the Cleveland Browns a couple years ago. I come in off the couch. I help them get to the playoffs. Look at what I've done for other organizations as I've bounced around. I've created stability. He can, but I also think that I don't blame certain teams for outside of Cincinnati for bringing him in. Because I look at this and I think this is a guy who might cause some issues where he believes he's one thing at this stage of his career. At 41 years old, he'll be 42 next January. And you might just view him as a stopgap option to get you through until your starter gets healthy or until your young quarterback's ready to play. Who's to say that he's not going to create more of a distraction in that quarterback room because he won't be ready to let go of the reins of the offense? Everybody thinks that these backup quarterbacks who are 38, 39 years old are all going to be like Case Keenum, just great guys that are leaders in there who want to be a coach someday, who understand their role. I don't think Joe Flacco's a guy who's ready to let it go just yet and just be the Andy Dalton of that quarterback room, a guy who can step in if needed, but it's cool being in the background as the brains of that quarterback room to then guide a young quarterback. So there's a push and a pull there as a front office and coaching staff where I don't know if you want to necessarily bring a guy like that in because of what it can do to the quarterback room if he's rolling and they want to make a switch and he's not happy with it.
Vegas East, very quickly. Your speculation, guys. You think who is Joe Flacco calling dumb?
I believe it's the Vikings. They were the domino to fall with the quarterbacks all offseason, and I believe he thinks that he would have been a better option for them than Kyler, Carson Wentz, J.J. McCarthy, because they're a ready-made team to win in the eyes of many people.
I think it's the Steelers. If
Interesting.
You're waiting for Aaron Rodgers. I've won that division plenty of times. Played against those teams. So, like,
only team in the division he hasn't played for.
Well, yes. So, like, why not me?
This is why I'm probably going to be wrong about Joe Flacco hanging around longer than Brady. If he's going to keep calling these teams dumb and not be accepting of where he is in his career, teams are not going to be excited to sign him. This was a spin I did not see coming yesterday.
I like that Nuno just started talking as Joe Flacco. He goes, I've won that division plenty of times. Nuno Flacco.
Nuno Flacco. Wow. By the way, it's starting to get nice here in the Northeast.
Finally.
You know what that means? When you come over my house this summer and you're going to see my grass and my lawn and it's going to be beautifully green